So the Lama's first duty is to create this feeling of a sacred space and a protected space. Then, if you know it, together with the Lama, we do the Vajrasattva mantra, which is a mantra of purification. So we feel ourselves that we are going through a sort of a washing of ourselves, so that we move into a clean, new space. Then the attendant, Tengtashi, will offer piles of rice, which symbolize offering the universe to the Guru for the empowerment. Now the real meaning of this is the following. The world is full of objects. Most of it's junk. Useful junk, but I mean, it comes and it goes. It's impermanent, it's just things. There are some wonderful things in this universe, but they're just things. So we imagine we have really the most marvelous things in the whole cosmos. And the feeling we should have is, even if I had all of that, I would give it very, very willingly to receive this practice, because this practice will make me a more loving, compassionate, wise person. And that is worth more than anything. In our modern world, we are beleaguered with things. Things have become so important. We are the slaves of objects. They're clever objects, but we spend so much time earning them, looking after them, protecting them, insuring them. Things have become too important. So we feel that even the most wonderful things are not worth as much as real compassion. So we feel like we're offering the mandala of the universe in order for this gift of teachings about how to develop our loving, kind hearts. Then after that, Rinpoche will talk a bit in Tibetan. He chants, and what he's telling us is actually the history of this practice, how it started, how it's travelled through time, through a lineage of lamas until the present day. And what he'll be saying is that there were many, many practices of compassion throughout Buddhism. So many of them went to Tibet from the 8th century onwards. On all the various levels of Tantra or Vajrayana, we find specialized practices for compassion. But this particular one is very potent. He's talking here about the one we use for the Nyumne practice. It comes from a lady practitioner who was a nun. Her story is fantastic. We don't have the time for it today, but she was a princess who became a nun. She was a princess who developed leprosy. She became a nun, a recluse, and she had the most marvelous and profound spiritual experiences, and then development of those experiences until she herself was enlightened. And she gave us this practice, and it's been passed down through time. So her name in Tibetan is Galongma Palmo, or in Sanskrit Bhikshuni Lakshmi. And it's this tradition of her practice that Rinpoche is empowering us for this evening. At one point he'll ask us to repeat some Tibetan after him, which is a request for the empowerment. And we'll repeat things in Tibetan in general, because that's the way it's been done over the centuries. He feels confident with that the transmission through time in Tibetan has been pure. If we do it in English, who knows? Maybe okay, maybe not. So we're playing safe. We're doing it in Tibetan because it's fine that way. So we'll ask you to repeat in Tibetan for the request. And then, because this practice belongs to what we call Vajrayana, visualizations, mantras, and so on, then all of Vajrayana Buddhism has to be founded in the good, loving, kind heart of what we call the Bodhisattva of Mahayana Buddhism. So we need to remind ourselves of our Mahayana Buddhism, of our promise that we make in that Buddhism to dedicate our lives to the welfare of all other beings. And that in itself, this good heart of the Bodhisattva, has to be based in the ethics, the understanding of cause and effect and so on, of the Buddhism that we find all over the world. So for that we need in particular to remind ourselves of our refuge. So what we do, we do the prayers of refuge and bodhicitta, and also a prayer called the seven branch prayer, which you may know, as a way of preparing our mind for the refuge. So we take for the empowerment. So we take refuge, which means we place our confidence in enlightened beings and their teaching. We give rise to the noble heart of the Bodhisattva, turning our loving care towards all beings. Then we do the seven branch prayer, which brings great positivity of mind. And then we make another request. This time we're asking for this particular empowerment. The first request is more like asking the teacher, please give me empowerment, give me initiation. The second request is, please give me this initiation for the Bhikshuni Lakshmi practice of Nyungye. And then we move on to the empowerment itself.